Hi, this is Kylie Koo. Welcome to Kylie Koo Studio. So during August I participated in a 30-day ATC, that's Artist Trading Cards or Index Cards challenge. So for each day there was a suggested theme for the card. I chose to do index cards and I managed to complete all 30 days, which I'm really pleased about. So what I'm going to do is give you a quick flip through of those cards. So day one was an animal you have never drawn before. So I hadn't drawn a dog before, puppy, so I decided to do this. So it's actually collage. The dog image is collage and the rest I've added a bit of washi tape. I think I used gelatos in the background to get a bit of colour. And they called it Puppy Love, Woof. Day two was something mythological. So here in Scotland we have Loch Ness and we have the famous, well I think it's famous, Loch Ness Monster. So I chose to do Nessie. So this was mainly done with acrylics, just trying to get that kind of nighttime sky, the water and Nessie popping up out. Day three was your favourite TV show. So I couldn't think here beyond some of the gardening shows that I love to watch, and so therefore I chose just to do this flower card with some washi tape of birds and butterflies, because the kind of all that goes on in the garden are as important to me as the flowers themselves. The next was your favourite food. So again here I chose to do collage. Yes, pizza, pasta, cake, but some healthy veg in the background there. The next day was a scene from your favourite movie. So one of my favourite movies is You've Got Mail, and I love that scene where Tom Hanks takes Meg Ryan the daisies in her apartment when she's feeling under the weather, and it really kind of starts to kick off their friendship. So that was my representation of that. The next one was, these are sticking, scenery. So this was just an image in my imagination. It's something that I've drawn a few times over the years, so it is what it is, done in acrylics. The next one was your zodiac sign. So I'm Aries, ruling planet Mars, fire sign, and I think that's the kind of Aries constellation. The next is a pet you have, that you've had or you wish you had. Well, I love bunnies. And I love them all. I love you all. I do. I love all bunnies. And again, I think I used some gelatos for the background there and supplemented it just with some Inktense, I think it was. Then it was your favourite candy. So one of my favourite sweets is Turkish Delight. And so here I just did a collaged image from Turkey, tried to create a bit of that kind of feel in the background, that kind of Eastern feel in the background. Next was a character from a book, not a character from a movie. So I read a lot of crime, but if I was looking at more kind of traditional books, I love Jane Eyre. So this is my representation of Jane Eyre. It's the key, which is significant in terms of the story, to the locked room in the attic, and just that lovely phrase in the book, "Reader, I married him." Next one was an instrument. So I've gone for this old guitar. I play guitar And yeah, so it's probably my favourite instrument. Next one was, sorry again, these are sticking, your favourite flowers. Well, I love sunflowers. I just think they're so bright, so vibrant. And I used this Helen Keller quote, which is, "Keep your face to the sunshine and you cannot see the shadows. It's what the sunflowers do." I just thought that was a really great quote. Next one is a fairy tale. So I had to think, long and hard about fairy tales, and it took me a little while, but then I came up with the idea of thinking about kind of Little Red Riding Hood, but kind of turning it a bit. So this was the character I created, and she's saying, "I ain't afraid of no wolf." So Little Red Riding Hood with attitude. Then it was your favourite cartoon character. Oh, I love Snoopy. So I tried to keep this very simple, the blue background and just Snoopy in the basic colours. Yes, I love Snoopy. Then it was some sea creatures. So just tried to do a few different things here with the kind of seaweed and the bubbles popping up. Again, I think this was mainly acrylics. Next was a character from a game. So my little character that I'd created for Little Red Riding Hood popped up again, and I think you're going to be seeing more of her in the future. So I had a bit of trouble thinking about what games, and then I came up with Cluedo, which I think is called Clue in the USA. So for me in Cluedo, I always loved Miss Scarlet, just the name Miss Scarlet. So I created her, and she's saying, "It wasn't me, I haven't got a Cluedo," said Miss Scarlet. As I say, I think if you follow my channel, I think you'll be seeing more of her in future. The next one was an actor or actress. So again, this was collage, although I used a stencil with the kind of old film type look there. And I took a quote from Humphrey Bogart, which was, "You're not a star until they can spell your name in Karachi." I just thought that was another great quote. The next is a place you want to visit. Well, I'd love to visit the moon. So, yeah, walking on the moon. The next one was a couple, and I got a bit slushy and mushy here and did this couple from a wedding magazine. I had a new stencil, daisy stencil, so I used it, and I just added the words together, "forever." So yeah, that's my bit of slushiness. Then it was something from your room. So that was a difficult one. So the thing that was sitting in front of me in my studio was my new daisy stencil. So I just decided to do that. I used some ink spray and just did some highlights with black pen and gold pen. Then it was an insect. So I used a collaged image of a butterfly. I used my daisy stamp again and added some little daisy stickers that I had and just said, "The joy of watching a butterfly flutter by." Then we had redesign a book cover. Again, I had to think long and hard about this, but in the end I decided to go for 1984, and rather than Big Brother is watching you, I added Everyone is watching you. And again, this is supposed to be a computer screen with an eye and with the little green dot which signals that the video camera's on. So yeah, 1984, Everyone is watching you. Then it was a dinosaur. So I used a piece of clip art that I was able to download off the internet for the actual dinosaur, and just created the background, I think mainly with acrylics and some pen. Then it was something orange. So I just decided here to use lots of different orange colours. So there's drippage effect, there was a kind of orange ink, and yeah, very much an orange background. Then it was a piece of jewellery. So I did this kind of chain, added in some gems, diamonds, and I've said I'd rather have art supplies than diamonds and jewels. The next was an animal that has your favourite colour on it. Oh no, it wasn't, sorry, I beg your pardon. The next one was the weather outside. So that particular day it started off quite sunny and we had blue sky, and so I just did this kind of sun mandala with the blue background and used some, I think it's kind of like stickles, but it's a different make. I just used that to give the effect of the rays. Then it was an animal that has your favourite colour. Well, my favourite colour is orange, and this is kind of a bright orange tiger, but there he is in that lush green background. The next was a song you're listening to. Well, I actually heard this song a couple of nights beforehand. It was a rendition of the song rather than the song itself, and I had that kind of earworm effect where the song just kept going round and round in my head. And yes, it was Bowie's Starman, so that was my representation of it. Great song. Then it was how you're feeling today. And that day, you know, I just had this notion that I wanted to go travelling, so I've used various Tim Holtz papers here, just cut out different pieces and added the words, I want to travel the world. There's so much I'd like to see in the world. And yeah, that day I just felt like I wanted to travel. So day 30, the last day, was to do a congratulations banner for finishing the challenge. So what I did is kind of downbeat, but I used some yellow legal pad paper that I stuck to the index card, and I did it as if it had been a project plan. So with the start date, the finish date, and my task, which was to complete 30 index cards, and woohoo, and little doodles around it, because finishing it, it just took me back to kind of work days when I'd kind of sit and just doodle sometimes in a meeting or whatever. I did it as a reminder to myself that, you know, in the past, sometimes the only art I could get done was, you know, little doodles on a notepad. So one of my objectives was to give myself more time for art, and, you know, I'm certainly managing that now, but this just reminds me of that. So that's it. That's my 30-day August challenge with index cards. Now, a couple of these cards are going to be winging their way to Diana as part of a trade, so they'll be on their way. I think with the others that I'm going to put them into a little journal, bind them somehow, and it was a great challenge to do. It's quite hard doing it every day for 30 days, but It was good, and the index card size is just a nice size. Some of the cards I was able to spend more time on than others. Some I just had to do very quickly because I didn't have a lot of time that day. But all in all, it was a really enjoyable exercise. So thank you, Diana, for arranging that through your Facebook group. And I will leave a link to Diana's channel and to her Facebook group in the description below. So hope you've enjoyed this flip through. Thanks for joining me. Hope to see you again. Bye for now.